Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm excited to share a project with you for Paper Tray Ink, and we're using two brand new items over at the Paper Tray Ink shop. The items that we're going to be using is a stencil set and a stamp set. The stencil set is called the Script Background Stencil Collection Set. There's two stencils in here. One of them is, let's get over so you can see. One of them is portrait style and the other one is landscape. They're slightly different. This one has a little bit more full script in it, where this one's spaced out to where you can see more in between each one of the layers. But this is a fabulous stencil. Now, when I first saw this, I immediately thought of vintage, and so that's what we're going to do today, a vintage monochromatic style card. Usually summertime I like to create bright, vibrant colors, but when I saw the stencil I thought, let's change it up a bit, let's tone things down and create a monochromatic card today. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to start off by doing a little bit of stamping, and today's card is pretty simple. I'm going to bring out my true black ink here and some white cardstock. To stamp my this is a layering stamp set, but I'm not going to use the layers. I'm just going to stamp the butterflies. I don't actually need that one. We'll just use the smaller one. But I'll ink up my butterflies and stamp them on some white cardstock. And again, we'll just keep them black. We're going for a gray tone, so black would be the darkest color in our monochromatic theme. We're going to ink up our larger butterfly, stamp that, and then we're going to stamp our medium butterfly here. Such beautiful butterflies. I die cut out my butterflies with the coordinating dies, and you can see they die cut beautifully. And then we are going to go ahead and, while we're at it, just flip these over. I'm going to fold over the wings, and then I'm going to use some foam strips and put them behind these butterflies. I'm going to take some small foam squares, just add one to the butterfly body. This way I can keep those wings fluffed up. I love fluffed up butterfly wings. Okay. After we have this done, we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. In our stamp set, I like the one that says Escape the Ordinary. I think that can be a beautiful everyday card. And I'm going to stamp this with my true black ink also. I'm just going to stamp it on some white cardstock. Now the script on this is really pretty. I think that goes perfect with a vintage style card. I'm going to take the coordinating die and die cut this out as well. Okay, so our sentiment is good to go. Since we have our sentiment done, I'm going to go ahead and flip this around and add some small foam squares behind here. And so our sentiment's ready to go. For my background, we're going to do a little bit of stenciling using the Script Background Stencil Collection. I'm going to use the portrait style one for my project today. I'm going to go ahead. I already have a pixie spray behind my stencil. Pixie spray is a light tack adhesive, and I'm going to place this on my, I'm going to make sure it's straight, but I'm going to adhere this over my white cardstock. If you don't have pixie spray, you could use tape to do this also. Now I'm going to go over my stencil with some soft stone ink, and I'm just going to use my blending tool to go over the script, and it just glides over. I love these colors. We're keeping with that gray tone, but it's a warm gray, and that to me says vintage. I'm almost done. I'm making sure that the ends, for the most part, we're going to cover the middle. I'm not too concerned about that, but I am concerned about the edges. So I'm just making sure I have plenty of ink on those edges. Okay, once I'm happy, we can remove our stencil. And isn't that so pretty? I love that. I think to me it just says vintage. Okay, now I need a home to put my butterflies on. So for this, I'm going to be using the Mix and Matte Postal Die set. Now I kept the detail piece intact. It's a 3-piece set. You can detach this if you want, but I like that detail and I kept it attached. I'm going to take some white cardstock and we are going to die cut out a panel with this. So I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. So this is what our panel looks like. I think it's going to go perfect for our background. Now I'm going to add a little bit of ink to the edges of my panel here. So let's bring in a craft mat. And I'm going to use that same blending tool and the same soft stone ink, and I'm just going to go around the edges to give it a vintage look. And the nice thing about my card today is really this style of card could go with any color. So if you wanted to do Hawaiian shore, instead of going vintage, you want to go bright, you could do this as well. This would make a great note card set because it's not that easy. It's not that hard to do. Okay, so I inked up the edges. We're going to bring back our stamp set, and just for a little added dimension, I'm going to stamp each one of the butterflies where I want them on my panel here. I know I'm going to put some baker's twine on this edge, so I'm kind of going to create a reverse C, and this is going to overhang, and that's okay. I think that looks great. I think that's a good spot. I think that looks pretty on its own if you were to pair these two together. I think that's beautiful. Okay, let's put away our ink, and we're going to take our twine. I'm using black and white baker's twine, and I'm going to flip over my panel, and using my tape runner, I'm going to add adhesive to the top and to the bottom. What I love about the postage mix and matte set is the postage edge is a perfect home for evenly spacing baker's twine. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a piece of black and white baker's twine and wrap it around and connect it to that adhesive that I put on the back side. And then I'm going to just trim this off. And then I'm going to take some foam adhesive and put it on the back of my panel. After I remove the release paper off of my panel, we're going to create a soft stone background. So I have a panel that we're going to layer right on top of our card base, and this is using the same soft stone cardstock. So my panel is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So it's just going to cover. I like to stretch my colored cardstock. So if you cut in panels of 4, it makes great card fronts. So I have a light gray card base. I'm going to add my stenciled background. It's going to leave me a little bit of a border. Let's go ahead and add some adhesive and tack this down, making sure it's centered. Now after we have our panel adhered, I brought back my butterflies, and I'm going to be using a button. This is from the Paper Tray Ink Vintage Button Collection. Tons of buttons in here, and this is almost they're mostly, for the most part, tan, but there are a few of the light gray buttons. Now rather than threading my twine through the button, I'm going to cheat and make it simple. I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to add a couple behind my button, and then I'm going to place this towards the upper portion of that baker's twine on top here, and then I'm going to tie a bow. After my bow is the size that I want it, what I'm going to do is take another glue dot. Let's put the bow down here. And just using my tweezers, I'll pick up one of these glue dots, and then I'm going to add it to my button, and then we can put the bow right in the center of it. And for this card, I think I want the tails of the bow to be a little bit on the longer side. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just trim them here. So we kind of fake tied our button. We just have a little bit more control over it that way. Now we're going to remove the release paper off of our butterflies, and we're going to place our butterflies directly over our existing butterflies, and we're going to fluff up those wings. It's just going to add extra dimension on a side profile. We'll add this one also. And then we'll add our smallest. And then we're going to remove the release paper off of our sentiment, and then we're going to add this to our card as well. I think that is a good spot for our sentiment, kind of overlapping. We're going to finish off our card using some of the fresh Snow Sequins. I'm going to go ahead and add a few here and there. And then that finishes off my card today for Paper Tray Ink. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.